Hello and welcome into the SBL 2025 season. We are at week 4, game number 1, and that will be between the undefeated 3-0 Bash Bros taking on the home team 1-2 Broad Street Bats. Let's head on over to the lineups as we take a look first at the visiting Broad Street Bats. Leading off in left field, this is the Bash Bros. Leading off for the Bash Bros in left field, Barry Bonds. At third base, batting second, Mike Schmidt. Batting third, the DH, Ryan Howard. At shortstop, the cleanup hitter, Miguel Tejada. Batting fifth, playing center fielder, Ken Griffey Jr. Batting sixth, playing right field, Evan Carter. Your catcher behind the plate is Kurt Casale. Playing first base, batting eighth, Kurt Bevacqua. And the second baseman for the Bash Bros is Nick Lofton. And this will be the first game that we actually will see. I tried to make most of the teams not have any repeat guys other than some bench guys, but Nick Lofton will be the first one featured on both teams today. So it'll be a little wonky seeing him on both sides of the plate. But for the Broad Street Bats, the leadoff man in left field is Ricky Henderson. Batting second, playing second, Chase Utley. In center field, batting third, Carlos Beltran. Batting fourth, playing third, the cleanup hitter, Ron Santo. At shortstop, batting fifth, Jimmy Rollins. The first baseman is Brian Banks. In right field, batting seventh, the Gold Glover, Sal Frelick. Behind the plate, Gold Glover, Patrick Bailey. And the DH, I believe, is Nick Lofton. The starting pitchers for today for the Bash Bros will be the SP4s, so we're getting into a little bit more hairy territory between the SP4s as we get into week 4 and 5. These slates, the pitchers will not be as good, so managers are going to have to be careful with the bullpen. For the Bash Bros, it'll be Jack Morris, who will have a 4 command against lefties and switch hitters, but a 5 command against righties. 0 defense. He can go 6 innings. A 2 mistake pitch range and 16 outs. So if he rolls high, he'll be okay, but he could very easily get into trouble. For the Broad Street Bats, it'll actually be good for them as they have a higher command pitcher going in Bruce Ruffin. 0 defense, a 6 command against righties and switch hitters, and a 7 against lefties, a 1 mistake pitch range, and 16 outs. He can only go 5 innings. So the Broad Street Bats might be a little bit tested as far as their bullpen is concerned. Let's head on over to the field and get ready to play ball. As we look at the defenses for both teams, the Bash Bros will have an infield of 12 and outfield of 10. Their battery will only be 9, so that might be a little bit of a tough thing for them. The Broad Street Bats will have an infield of 13 and an outfield of 12. I believe they have the best infield-outfield combo in the league. And then their battery will be an 11. So not a lot of catching/pitching defense here. But and may not be needed as much. Bruce Ruffin will be the pitcher for the Broad Street Bats. It'll be interesting to see if the Bash Bros can keep up their winning streak and improve to 4-0. The Broad Street Bats would love to get to 2-2 and lead that pack, as there are 4 teams, I believe, that are 1-2. So to get a win here in slate week number 4 would be huge. Ruffin is ready to go. Bonds is stepping up to the plate, and we are ready to play ball. This will be a 7 versus 12. And Ruffin starts off the game with an advantage, but Bonds will get a pitcher's chart walk to lead things off for the Bash Bros. Again, these pitchers will only have 16 outs apiece, so it's really important that they do as much as they can to not give up advantages and allow base runners. It would be a 25 versus 11, and Bonds is going to go. He's going to try to steal on Patrick Bailey, so 11 versus 25. The throw from Patrick Bailey will be a perfect throw as Bonds is gunned out going to second. Might have been a little premature, but they needed a 15 or higher, so he had a 75% chance of making it. 6 versus 12 as Schmidt comes up to the plate, and Schmidt will get the advantage, so this might have been a mistake for Bonds to go, who knows. And Schmidt almost gets an out on his chart, but he will walk. So 2 walks already issued by Ruffin. That is not good considering he can only go 5 innings as it is. So 2 batters have come up, 2 walks, nobody out yet. This will be a 7 versus 12 as the DH Ryan Howard comes up to the plate, and oh my goodness, Ruffin gives up another advantage. Howard will swing, and it's a fly ball to the second baseman, and Howard is out on his own chart. So Ruffin is completely dancing out of danger here with 2 away. Miguel Tejada, the shortstop, comes up. It'll be a 6 versus 13. And Ruffin gets the advantage, and Tejada will get a pitcher's chart single. Goodness. So with 2 outs, Tejada singles, bringing up the center fielder Ken Griffey Jr. It'll be a 7 versus 11. Outfield moves in. Big pitch from Ruffin here. He gets the advantage yet again, and Griffey will hit a ground ball over to the first baseman, Brian Banks, who picks it up, steps on first for the 3rd out of the inning. So Ruffin probably does one of the worst things he could do other than giving up runs. He gives up 2 walks and multiple advantages, but the Bash Bros cannot capitalize. Crotchety old Jack Morris takes the mound. This will be him facing off against Ricky Henderson. 5 versus 14. 5 versus 14, an advantage Henderson right off the bat. Henderson swings and misses on his own chart, so a hitter strikeout. So both teams fail to do anything on their own chart so far as hitting goes. Morris will face the second baseman Chase Utley. This will be a 4 versus 12. Advantage Morris. Utley's swing is a line drive smoked at the second baseman, and Lofton will hang on for out number 2. 4 versus 12 as the center fielder Carlos Beltran comes up to the plate. Advantage Morris. And Beltran gets a pitcher's chart single with 2 outs. And he will immediately try to steal as it'll be a 9 versus 25. The throw from Casali is only a 20 total. So Beltran will get onto second base. That'll bring up Ron Santo with 2 outs and runner on second. The outfield moves in as Beltran has a 25 base running. 5 versus 13. Morris is set. He delivers, and that is an 11 total. So Santo has the advantage. Santo is a 5, which is a walk. So he will walk with 2 outs. First for Morris. So both pitchers dealing with a lot of traffic on the base paths. Outfield stays in for the shortstop, Jimmy Rollins. 4 versus 12. And advantage Rollins. Rollins hits a single into right field. And they are definitely going to wave Beltran home. Because even with the outfield in, it'll still be a 28 for Beltran going home versus a 10. So 10 versus 28. Right field would be Evan Carter. Evan Carter is up with the throw, and Beltran will easily cross home plate standing up. And the Broad Street bats with the first run of the game as Rollins hits a 2-out single. So Morris was able to retire the first 2 batters, but then allowed a pitcher's chart single, hitter's chart walk, and hitter's chart single with 2 outs. Brings up the first baseman Brian Banks, 4 versus 12. Morris gains the advantage. Outfield is still in, and Banks will swing and miss. And that'll end the inning. As we head to the top of the second, the Broad Street Bats are winning 1-0 early. Now again, it's very important that these pitchers at least get through their 5 innings to get that quality appearance, because the bullpens are already a little bit fatigued on both sides. The Broad Street Bats have 3 out of their 4 fatigued. And the Bash Bros are okay, but again, going into your Game 5, you want as many arms as possible, as those 5th pitchers will most likely get shelled. 7 versus 8, and Carter's only hope is really to get a pitcher's chart advantage or swing or anything, and he will get a walk. So Ruffin has already allowed 3 walks, which means if he gets another one, he will already drop an inning. Casali will be asked to bunt to move Carter over to second, so he needs a 13 or higher and a minimum of 2 attempts, and they can choose to try on a 3rd attempt, which they will, and hope to get it, and they do not, so Casali will strike out. Bavacqua is going to be asked to do the same thing. There's no real reason not to at this point. He will not get it on the 1st attempt. He'll finally get it on the 2nd attempt. The only reason to do that is the first one was because Casali doesn't have a real chance of getting on base with advantage. I mean, 6 versus 12 isn't bad, but to single might be tough. I guess we could have let him, but he doesn't have good speed. And with the elite defense, it would have been a 13 versus 20 if it was a ground ball for a double play. And then Bavacqua has a 15 speed, so he could very easily ground into a double play. So that's the reasoning there. And this is 6 versus 11. Outfield will move in with Carter's 22 speed and advantage Lofton. So can Lofton tie up the game? Lofton will have an 8, which is a fly ball, but that'll end up being a single because of the outfield being in. So he pokes it past. Do they send him home? It'll be 12 versus 25. They're going to. 12 versus 25 on the throw, and it's an out. So Carter is gunned down at the plate to end the inning, and Ruffin gets out of the jam. Again, the idea was there. And 12 versus 25, I mean, again, the odds are there for him to go. But maybe we'll have to take a different approach with the pitchers having less outs with only 16. Brings up Sal Frelick. It'll be 4 versus 12 as we go to the bottom of the second inning. Advantage Morris barely. And Sal Frelick will swing, and that'll be a ground ball over to the second baseman, Nick Lofton, who picks it up, throws it over to first, where Bavacqua will make the grab for the first out of the inning. 4 versus 12 as the catcher Bailey comes up. Another advantage for Morris, but Patrick Bailey will get a pitcher's charge single, which brings up Nick Lofton. They will let him bat. 5 versus 10. A great pitch from Morris as he gets a 25 total. And, of course, it's a ground ball. So Lofton rolls one over to Tejada. Tejada tosses it over to second, where Lofton will grab it. He'll get 1 out. And it'll be a throw over to first. 12 versus 23. And it'll be a 21 total, so Lofton will get on a pitcher's fielder's choice. 2 away. And do they really want Ricky to lead off? Sure. 5 versus 14. Advantage Morris, and Henderson's swing is a fly ball out to left field, but Bonds is under it. He'll make the grab, and that'll end the second inning. So no damage done there, as Morris does allow some traffic, but nothing was super threatening. We get to the top of the third inning. The Bash Bros are down 1-0. Ruffin will face the top of the order, Bonds, Schmidt, and Howard. 7 versus 12, and advantage Bonds. Bonds will swing, and a 16 will be a leadoff double for him. A great start to the inning for the Bash Bros. And the outfield will move in. Bonds has a 19 base running. This will be a 6 versus 12. Ruffin is set. He fires. 19 total against Schmidt. Schmidt will swing, and that's a miss, and he will go down on strikes for out number 1. Outfield remains in for Ryan Howard. He got a fly ball on his own chart the last time he was up. This will be a 7 versus 12. Ruffin is set. The pitch is a 20, so perfect pitch from him. And a 16 will be a high fly ball out to right field. And Frelick is going back, but he will make the grab on the warning track for out number 2. And the Bash Bros have their leadoff guy double, but can't move him at all. As Miguel Tejada comes up, 6 versus 13. Outfield stays in. The pitch from Ruffin is a 20 total, and Tejada will get a perfect 20, his second pitcher's chart hit of the game, which moves Bonds to third, More decisions. So this would be a 12 versus 22. So a 50-50 shot. It'd be 7 versus 11. And they're going to wave Bonds home. They're going to try it again. Henderson will be making the throw from left field. So again, it's a 12 versus 22. So 12 plus 12 will be a 24. And Bonds is thrown out at the plate. So back-to-back innings for the Bash Bros where they have their runner go home with 2 outs and they are thrown out at the plate. A great throw from Ricky Henderson in left, and Bruce Ruffin will again dance out of danger. It's hard to know what to do there because, again, Ruffin would have needed the roll of 4 or less, which isn't impossible, but you take 50-50 odds at going home over a 4. Or, again, if you want to hope you get a hit on the pitcher's chart, you need an 18 or higher. But either way, we head to the bottom of the 3rd inning. This will be Morris facing the 2-3-4 hitters for the Broad Street Bats as Utley comes up. 4 versus 12. And a 15 total for Morris. Utley's swing is a ground ball over to the second baseman, Lofton, who picks it up and tosses it over to first for out number 1. Brings up the center fielder, Carlos Beltran, who had a single in the 1st inning and a run scored. 4 versus 12. And advantage Beltran. Beltran's swing is a 5, which is a fly ball that he pops up to the second baseman, Lofton, who's under it, makes the grab for out number 2. So another batter start out. 5 versus 13 as the third baseman, Ron Santo, comes up to the plate. Advantage Morris, and Santo will roll the ball over to the shortstop Tejada, who's up with it, fires it over to Bavacqua for a 1-2-3 inning for Morris. We are cruising right along as we are already in the 4th inning. 1-0 Broad Street Bats. Again, a lot of traffic so far. Morris so far has gone 3 innings. He's allowed 3 hits, all singles, 2 strikeouts. Ruffin has allowed 4 hits, 2 strikeouts himself, and 3 walks. So again, he really wants to be able to limit those if possible. And he is set here, 7 versus 11, as he faces Ken Griffey Jr. He will get the advantage, and Griffey will make contact, but he will ground out to the second baseman, Chase Utley, as he throws over to first with 1 away. Brings up Evan Carter, who got a walk on the pitcher's start last time. He needs Ruffin to roll a 1 if he wants an advantage. So he actually has better odds at getting a pitcher's start hit, but he will also ground the ball over to the first baseman, Brian Banks, who just loves it and steps on first for out number 2. 6 versus 12 as the catcher Casali comes up. Advantage Casali. And Casali with a 9, and that is a walk, and that drops Ruffin an inning. That is not good as he gets a walk. He was so close to being able to go to the 5th inning, escaping damage, but he will technically be tired after this inning, which means the Broad Street Bats will need 5 innings of work out of their bullpen. And if they do that and use all of their normal relievers, they will only have 1 reliever for the next game. So they're going to have to probably go to some punts in order to get through this game. And against the Bash Bros, never want to do that. 6 versus 12 here. And advantage Ruffin. And Bavacqua will get a single. So a 2-out single from Bavacqua. We'll put 2 on with the second baseman Lofton coming up to the plate. 6 versus 11. Outfield moves in. And a tie will go to Lofton. And Lofton's swing is a ground ball, so that'll be the 3rd out of the inning. And even though Ruffin has not given up a single run yet, he currently is pushed out of this game. But they might need to pitch him tired, especially when he has a really good back end to the chart. So we might see him for another inning or two with just less command, which we can go over. But bottom of the 4th, Morris against the 5, 6, and 7 hitters. This will be a 4 versus 12 as the shortstop Rollins is up. A perfect pitch from Morris. Rollins will swing, and that is a line drive that he smokes over to the second baseman. And Lofton will make the out. 4 versus 12 as the first baseman Brian Banks comes up to the plate. A 3 will be advantage Banks. And Banks will swing, and Banks will strike out on his own chart for out number 2. So the Broad Street Bats are not helping themselves much here. And the gold gloving right fielder is up, Sal Frelick, 4 versus 12. And Morris will just get the advantage, but Frelick gets a 2-out single. And he will also try to steal second. This will be a 9 versus 23, so they need a 15 or higher. And they absolutely will get it, and he is gunned out going to second for a essentially 1-2-3 inning for Jack Morris. And this is where we run into some trouble, because Ruffin would essentially be facing the top of the order. As we go into the top of the 5th, they just don't have the arms. He has to go back out and pitch some games tired. So he only has a 5 command now, base command, and the other team will roll the power die every time. So this will be 5 plus 1, so 6 versus 12. Bonds is 1 for 1 today. He's had a double and a walk. And an advantage for Bonds, and he gets to roll the power die anyway, and a 23 will be a home run as Bonds ties this game up with 1 swing, and he, like the name suggests, puts the Bash Bros on the board. Again, the Broad Street Bats will only have, I mean, they could use all 4 arms of their bullpen, but they would still need another inning because they have to pitch the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. So either way, they'd have to use a punt reliever at least for 1 inning. So a 5 command Ruffin is seemingly better. 5 versus 12. Schmidt is 0 for 1. He had a walk back in the 1st. 5 versus 12. Advantage Ruffin. Schmidt still gets to roll the power die, and he rolls a 23, which is a double. So I rolled back-to-back 3s, which is kind of crazy. Or back-to-back 23s. Outfield will move in. This will be a 6 versus 12. And a 15 total is advantage Ruffin. And Howard will swing and miss for the first out of the inning. As Miguel Tejada comes up, he is 2 for 2 with 2 pitcher start singles. Outfield stays in. 5 versus 13. A 19 total for Ruffin. And Tejada with a 6. It'll be a ground ball for the second out of the inning. And outfield stays in. 6 versus 11. Ken Griffey is 0 for 2 today. The pitch is a 6 or so, 13 total. Advantage Ruffin. And the swing from Griffey is an 18. That's going to be a single. So pitcher's chart single. And do they send Schmidt? It'd be 12 versus 22. A 50-50 shot, and they're going to let him go. 12 versus 22. And the throw is a 1, which is an error, so the Bash Bros will take the lead on a 2-out RBI single from Ken Griffey, and Griffey will move to second on the error to home plate. So still a man on second with 2 outs. The outfield moves in. The Bash Bros take a 2-1 lead. 6 versus 8. And Ruffin just barely gets the advantage by 1. Carter's swing is a 9, and that'll be a ground ball to end the inning. And the Broad Street Bats did what they needed to do with Ruffin. We'll keep him out just in case he has to go another inning. But they take a... or they're down 2-1 as they go to the bottom of the 5th. Ruffin actually gets the quality appearance, but he's still tired because he already had 4 walks, which stinks. Morris is set to face the 8-9 one-hole hitter, so he's about to go to the 7th inning, or 7 innings of work, if he can get through here with not allowing 2 runs. 4 versus 12, and advantage Morris. Patrick Bailey will swing and ground the ball over to the second baseman, Nick Lofton, for the first out of the inning. 5 versus 10. Morris is set. He delivers. Just barely gets the advantage. And Lofton hits a deep fly ball to left field, but Bonds is under it and makes the out for out number 2. Which brings us back to the top of the order. Henderson's 0 for 2 today. 5 versus 14. And Morris gives up an advantage to Henderson. Henderson's swing is a single, so he'll be on with 2 outs. And he will try to go for second. It's another 9 versus 25. 9 versus 25, and it'll only be a 23, so Henderson swipes second. And with 2 outs, Chase Utley comes up to the plate. He's 0 for 2, 4 versus 12. And it's a tie, which goes to Utley. The outfield did move in. 4 versus 12. Advantage Utley, but he is going to walk, which isn't the worst, but you would have really loved a single for the chance to tie the game at the minimum, or at least extra bases. Outfield stays in. 4 versus 12 as Beltran is 1 for 2 today. 4 versus 12, and Morris just barely gets the advantage, and Beltran will hit a screaming line drive to the second baseman Lofton for out number 3. So Morris will get the quality appearance and dance out of danger as we go to the top of the 6th inning. It is Bash Bros 2, Broad Street Bats 1. And with the bottom of the order coming up, Ruffin is going to go back out again for another inning. So his command is actually going to stay at a 5 since he technically kind of got a quality appearance. Which I'll have to ask about that later on. Actually, I'll ask about it now in my thing real quick. So another close one so far. Let's go to... We'll do it that way. Okay. So 5 versus 12. Again, the offense will get the power die every time. 5 versus 12. Ruffin barely gets the advantage. Casale's swing is a 12, and that will be a line drive out to the shortstop, Jimmy Rollins, for out number 1. 5 versus 12. As Bavacqua comes up, he is 1 for 2 today. And Ruffin with another advantage. The swing from Bavacqua is an 8. That's a ground ball over to the shortstop Rollins, who fires over to first. Brian Banks makes the catch, 2 away. 5 versus 11. Lofton has gotten the advantage both times he's been up today. He's 1 for 2. He will not get it this time, but can he do some damage on the pitcher's chart? And a 24 will be a double. So a 2-out pitcher's chart double from Lofton, as he is now 2 for 3 today. And now they have a decision. Do you let him face 6 versus 12? Or do you bring in somebody? Six versus 12. They're going to have to... A lot of decisions here. They're going to try. They're going to switch pitchers. It's not worth, in such a close game, to risk giving up another pitcher's chart hit with a power die just because. So the Broad Street Bats are going to turn to reliever Carmen Mladzinski. Mladzinski is a righty. He's got a 4 command against right-handers, but against lefties and switch hitters, he'll have a 5. He has 18 outs. And he'll be facing the leadoff man, Barry Bonds, who is 2 for 2. He has a home run, a double, and a walk. Outfield does move in. So this will be a 5 versus 13. A huge pitch here. 5 versus 13. Advantage Mladzinski, and Bonds will hit a ground ball over to the third baseman, Santo, who will fire over to the first baseman, Banks, who makes the grab and the third out of the inning. So Mladzinski comes in for 1 out and 1 batter, and he will get the out. A huge out there. Definitely worth it. Morris will face the 4, 5, and 6 hole hitters. Santo is 0 for 1 with a walk so far in the bottom of the 6th. We 5 versus 13, and advantage Santo to lead things off. And, that was almost a 20, but a 15 will be a single. So the leadoff man is aboard with nobody out. Jimmy Rollins is 1 for 2 today and an RBI single in the first inning. It'll be a 4 versus 12. Morris is set. He delivers. And a 10 total, so another advantage given up by Morris. Rollins' swing is an 18, which is a double. That'll move Santo all the way over to third, and they could send him home. It would be this outfield is a 10. It'd be a 10 versus 21, but they will let it ride for now. Because with nobody out, there's no reason to get super greedy. And it's basically it's a 55 to 60% chance of being safe, but the Bash Bros will have to move the infield and outfield in, as Morris will face Brian Banks, who's 0 for 2. He's been struck out twice. So 4 versus 12. And another advantage, 3 given up in a row. And with both the infield and outfield in, Banks would need to roll a 1 or a 2 to be out on his own chart. And a 10 will load the bases as he walks, which is the third walk allowed by Morris. And the bases are loaded with nobody out. Infield and outfield both stay in. And Sal Frelick, who is 1 for 2, is up. 4 versus 12. Morris is going to need to get out of this jam. Oh my word, it teetered back and forth. But it will be advantage Morris. Frelick with an 18, a clutch pitcher's chart single, which will score a run for the Broad Street Bats as Santo comes in to score. Rollins to third, Banks to second. And it would be a 10 versus 25. Do they test it or let it ride? There's still nobody out, so they're going to just let it ride for now, because it'll make the defense have to keep questioning their positioning. Brings up Patrick Bailey, who's 1 for 2, and again, the pitcher's chart outs or pitcher's chart hits are what kill these SP4s and 5s. So we do have a tie ball game. The infield's going to be normal. Outfield will stay in. 4 versus 12. Advantage Bailey, so another advantage given up. But with the infield normal, 5 or lower will be an out for Bailey. A 13 is a single. So the Broad Street Bats are going to retake the lead, as Morris is really struggling here. And with the outfield remaining in, they'll hold up there. Still nobody out and bases loaded for the DH Nick Lofton, who's 0 for 2. Infield in, outfield in. 5 versus 10. Morris finally gets the advantage, and oh man, Lofton will ground out. Lofton hits a ground ball, which the infield being in means that Banks will be thrown out at home for out number 1. And we go with the top of the Broad Street Bats lineup, where Henderson is 1 for 3. And the outfield will stay in. The infield will stay in. Still only 1 out, bases loaded. 5 versus 14. Oh no, a mistake pitch from Morris. A mistake pitch, and Ricky Henderson has the opportunity to absolutely blow this game wide open. Anything other than a 1 is at least a walk or a hit. And a 3 would normally be an out, but with the infield in, it ends up being a ball that goes past the diving shortstop of Tejada. The Broad Street Bats have now scored another run. And could score more, as Morris is really struggling here. But with the outfield in, it'd be 12 versus 17. So they're going to leave it as is. Still only one out. Both infield and outfield stay in. 4 versus 12. Utley is 0 for 2 with a walk. 4 versus 12 and another mistake pitch. Oh my goodness, Morris is just crumbling right now. So again, Utley would need to only roll a 1 to not get an out here. And, dude, a 2. These guys are rolling. I've rolled a 2 and a 3 on the power die. Holy smokes. So Bailey comes in to score. Lofton will hang up at third. And the bases are still loaded. Back-to-back mistake pitches, and they've only given up singles. But 4 runs already allowed in this inning. Might need to expand this 6th inning. Holy smokes, they're just letting... Morris is just crumbling right now, and this is everything that the Broad Street Bats could have asked for against an undefeated team. Rollins is 1 for 3, and this is the 9th hitter that has come up to the plate. 4 versus 12, infield and outfield in. They have to be with only 1 out. Oh my word, and a 3rd mistake pitch in a row given up. Can Rollins... Oh no, sorry, this is Beltran. It was 4 versus 12. Sorry, this is Beltran. Beltran is 1 for 3. And Beltran with a 14 will be a single. So Lofton comes in to score. Moves Henderson to third, and they're just going to keep the base. They're just going to keep loading the bases. It's been working so far. Brings up Ron Santo. Infield's going to be normal. Outfield will be in. Santo is 1 for 2 today. 5 versus 13. Can Morris finally get an advantage? He does. And an 11 is a line drive caught by the 3rd baseman. So 2 outs now. As now Jimmy Rollins comes up to the plate. 4 versus 12. Rollins is 2 for 3. Infield regular, outfield in. 4 versus 12. Advantage Morris. And a 17 is a pitcher's chart walk. And that will bring in yet another run. And it's the 4th walk allowed by Morris. As the Broad Street Bats are just pouring it on. It is now 7-2. And they need another arm. They're going to need at least 2 more after this. And there's 2 outs. So they just let Banks. Do they just throw up Banks? It'd be 3 versus 12. It's already 7-2. They're just going to let him. They're going to let him go. 3 versus 12. Banks will get the power die. Outfield stays in. Mistake pitch anyway. Banks is a 12. That's another walk. This is like death by a million cuts right now. And that was Utley who came in to score. This is insane. It is 8-2. Should be 3 versus 12. Power die no matter what. They're going to let him roll with it. 3 versus 12, because at this rate the game's probably over. Advantage on a tie goes to Freelick. Freelick will hit a single. And that'll bring in Beltran. Another run scores. I don't even know how to score this. What happens if they... Oh, because that goes there. Okay. Where is Santo? Oh, he's out. Okay. And they're just going to send Rollins, too. You might as well. It'd be a 10 versus 28 on the throw, and not even close. So Frelick will get 2 RBIs. And it is just a bloodbath. He's down another inning, 2 versus 12. Just go with it. Another mistake, oh my word. An 18 for Bailey is another single on a mistake pitch. They'll try to go Banks home. 12 versus 21. And Banks will be safe. It is 11-2. Brings up Lofton to 3 versus 10. Morris finally gets an advantage. Oh, don't watch that one because it's power die always no matter what. And a 12 will finally end the inning. And oh my gosh, what a brutal, just absolutely brutal stretch. I think Morris's day is going to be done after that one. Wow. The bad news is that this might turn into a punt fest. As we head to the top of the 7th inning, the Bash Bros are losing 11-2. Where did it go wrong? I mean, it was a leadoff double, single, and then just pitcher short hits. And then it was just mistakes, but I mean, at that point, it was already going to be, they had already scored off pitcher short hits. I mean, it was 7-2 before Morris was even tired, I believe. Oh, wow. So Mladinsky will come back. He's got 2 outs worth. It's 11-2. The Bash Bros maybe just hit a wall. This will be a 4 versus 12 as Schmidt is up to bat. And advantage goes to Schmidt. Let's see if they can start salvaging some stuff out of here. And he will get a walk, and the leadoff runner is aboard. Nobody out. Still a long game. Anything can happen, but you'd have to imagine that 11-2 is going to be a little hard to come back from. This will be 5 versus 14. Howard is 0 for 3 today. 5 versus 14. An advantage to Ryan Howard. It's a tied advantage. Howard's swing is a single, so 2 on for the Bash Bros. As this will be a 4 versus 11 with the shortstop Tejada. He is 2 for 3. 4 versus 11. Outfield does move in. Advantage Mladinsky, and Tejada gets a 19, and that's the second walk allowed. And all of a sudden, it's bases loaded for the Bash Bros. And Ken Griffey Jr. up to bat. All infield and outfield are going to be regular, even though there's nobody out. Being up this much, they don't want to give any free hits away on the hitters chart if they get the advantage and roll low. 5 versus 13, and advantage Mladinsky again. And 18 is a deep fly ball to right field. And Frelick is back. He's under it and will make the grab for out number 1. All infield and outfield will be regular still, unless otherwise stated. This will be 5 versus 11 as the right fielder Evan Carter is up. 5 versus 11. Great pitch from Mladinsky, and 8 will be a ground ball So Tejada is thrown out at second. Howard safe at third. This will be a 13 versus 25 on the double play attempt. 13 versus 25, and Carter safe, which means Schmidt scores. And the Bash Bros get one back. And that'll be an RBI fielder's choice for Evan Carter. That is pushing Mladinsky to tired. And with Kurt Casale coming up to the plate, we need a pitching change. And I'm going to tell you right now, they're probably going to throw a punt option out there. And it's going to be Dave Otto, so he'll have to face the minimum of 3 batters, which will be the 7, 8, 9 hole hitters for the rest of this inning. Now, obviously, if the inning ends, he doesn't have to come back out. But Otto only has 15 outs, 16 through 18 walk range, and he has a base of 1 command, so not very good. But this will be a 2 versus 12. 2 versus 12. And Otto gets the advantage. Casale's swing is a ground ball, and Otto is able to record the... Oops, there should have been 2 outs on there. My apologies. That'll be the 3rd out of the inning. The Bash Bros do get 1 back, but it is not looking very good for them. The Broad Street Bats will have their leadoff hitter up, the 1, 2, 3 hole hitters. And the Broad Street Bats are up 11-3, and the Bash Bros are looking to see what they want to do. We don't want to make this game take forever and fully punt, but they might need to fully punt. The problem is they don't have anyone that's like really good against righties. They could just throw Cronin. They're going to do that. They'll throw Cronin. Cronin is a base of 4 command. He'll have a 5 against righties, 4 against lefties and switch hitters. He does have 17 outs. So he is fresh, and they'll throw him just to not let this get completely out of hand. Allow him to hopefully do some work here. This will be a 5 versus 14. Bottom of the 7th. Advantage Cronin. And Henderson will ground on over to the shortstop Tejada, who throws it over to first, 1 away. 4 versus 12. As Utley is up. Cronin is set. He delivers a perfect pitch. Utley's swing is a ground ball also, this time over to second base, where Lofton picks it up and throws it over to Bavacqua, 2 away. 4 versus 12. Beltran will get the advantage. Beltran will get a leadoff, a 2-out walk. And the battery is an 8. He will take off for second. 8 versus 25. And he is safe at second base. Outfield will move in with 2 outs. 5 versus 13. Cronin is set. He delivers an advantage Santo. Santo will hit a deep fly ball. That ball is going, and gone. So Cronin gets 2 outs right away and then allows a 2-out, 2-run home run to Ron Santo to make this a 13-3 game. 4 versus 12 as Rollins comes up. Advantage Cronin. Rollins will swing and hit a line drive over to the right side of the field for an out. And we'll head to the top of the 8th inning, and unfortunately, I think we're going to start punting some of these. Otto will actually just come back out because he's already faced one. No reason to switch. We already have punts out there. It is 13-3. They scored 10 runs in one inning. It's unbelievable. But even if they didn't score 10, I mean, he just had a 2-run home run. They were going to already score at least 3 with Morris in the game normally. So at the minimum, it'd be 7-3, which it's not impossible to come back from. But Bavacqua is 1 for 3 on the day. This will be a 2 versus 12. And an 18 total for Otto is enough to get the advantage. And a ground ball over to the third baseman, Santo. Fires to first, 1 away. Otto is set. It'll be a 2 versus 11. 2 versus 11. He delivers another advantage for Otto. He is cooking right now. And another ground ball over to, this time, the shortstop, Jimmy Rollins, who will toss it over for the second out, over to first. Otto is tired, so they need someone to come on and face Barry Bonds. That'll be Larry Cajun. Another punt pitcher for the Broad Street Bats. And man, I really thought this was going to be like a legitimately good game between these two teams, because I thought the Broad Street Bats have a very solid lineup overall, and they have a little bit of everything, some extra base hits, some speed, their pitching's solid, so I really thought that they were going to be able to have a really good game against the Bash Bros, and Jack Morris just absolutely melted. So Cajuns in the game. This will be a 4 versus 12. And immediately gives up the advantage to Bonds. Bonds will get a single with 2 outs, and he will get on over to first with Mike Schmidt coming up. This is a 1 versus 12. Schmidt is 1 for 2. He's had 2 walks and a double, 2 runs scored. And advantage Schmidt as Cajun gives up back-to-back advantages. This one will be a mistake pitch. And you know, with the Bash Bros, the ever-dangerous Mike Schmidt only rolls a 7, which is a walk. That's his 3rd walk of the day. You'd think they might be in a different position if he'd have a couple more base hits or extra base hits instead of walks. And this brings up Ryan Howard. He is 1 for 4. 4 versus 12. Advantage Cajun, and Howard will hit a line drive over to the first baseman for out number 3. So the Bash Bros are looking kind of weak at this point. The bottom of the 8th inning, it is 13-3. We're going to need another pitcher, probably again a punt at this point, since both teams are kind of just content letting this one play out. Walter Beal will come out for the Bash Bros. What just happened? Won't go through all the specifics, just know that the pitchers coming out are not good. This will be a 4 versus 12 as Beal faces the 6, 7, and 8 hole hitters. And a mistake pitch right off the bat goes to Banks. The swing from Banks is a 7, so another walk. So many walks in this game, it's unreal. 4 versus 12. Beal sets, delivers against Frelick. Advantage Beal, but a pitcher short single for Frelick puts 2 on with nobody out. Outfield remains normal. 4 versus 12 again. Beal's pitch, what'd I say, 4 versus 12. Advantage Beal, and a 9 is a fly ball, so he gets Bailey to pop out to the right fielder Evan Carter with 1 away. So it'll be a 1 versus 10 as Lofton is 0 for 3, or maybe 0 for 4. 1 versus 10, advantage Beal, and a pitcher's chart single from Lofton will put the bases loaded with 1 out. And the leadoff hitter, Ricky Henderson, this will be 1 versus 13. Advantage Henderson. Henderson will hit a single. And we're just going to do, again, death by a million cuts here. Unfortunately. We could try to keep sending guys and hope they get thrown out, but what's the point? 4 versus 12. And advantage Utley. Come on, put 1 away here. And Utley hits a deep fly ball. That is a grand salami. He will clear the bases as Utley hits a grand slam, which will move all the runners around. Ring around the rosy, carousel. This is insane. And Beal is already tired, so they're going to have to go to another punt option, which will be Dave Otto. You would think this is the opposite of what should have happened, where the Bash Bros would be the ones that are hitting all these home runs. But I think the Broad Street Bats are just a dangerous team that you need to look out for. It is 18-3. Oh, man. 2 versus 12. And Otto just barely gets the advantage. And Beltran will swing and miss. I think these guys are ready to just go home and get out of here. 2 versus 12. Otto's pitch will go to Santo. Santo will have a double with 2 outs, which brings up Jimmy Rollins. This will be a 2 versus 13. Outfield will stay in, but of course it's a mistake pitch. Rollins will walk, so no real damage done there. And guess what, folks? We have to expand yet again, as this will be the second time in the game that the Broad Street Bats have batted all the way around. Complete insanity. Two versus 11. No defense here. And a 7 will be a ground ball. And Banks makes the 3rd out of the inning. And this is really unfortunate that the commentary is just so dead right now, just of how bad this game has turned. I just can't believe that a game with no coaches and strategy cards has just turned this poor. It's truly unbelievable. We go to the top of the 9th. It's also taken so long. It's 18-3. 1 versus 13. And Cajun gets the advantage. Tejada will hit a fly ball for out number 1. 4 versus 11. Advantage Griffey. Come on, Griffey. Hit one out of the park here. Nope. Griffey's like, yo, guys, listen, I'm done. I'm just going to pop out to the first baseman. And, oh my word, we have to really put in another pitcher because Cajun's tired. Oh my word, they do. Just put in Walter Beal, get it over with. Cajun comes out. Walter Beal will be coming in. Really just needs one out here because it's the top of the 9th. This will be a 1 versus 8. Nope, I lied. This will be a 4 versus 11. Get it right, kid. Mistake pitch to Evan Carter. Come on, Carter. Blast one out here. Give your team some life to move into the next game. He won't hit it out, but he will hit a triple, so that's pretty cool. I think that's the first one we've had this season. Which brings up Casale, 1 versus 10. Beal's pitch is another mistake pitch. Casale, and that's such a fitting way to end this game. Casale will hit a ground ball on a mistake pitch. And ladies and gentlemen, it was not pretty. It was not really fun, if we're going to be honest. But that was a ball game. 3-18. Holy cow. Are the Broad Street Bats a team to look out for, or was that just an absolute brutal, brutal game for both of these teams? Not too sure. Again, that was truly mind-blowing, considering in a normal game of clutch, you have the opportunities to add on to on bases, add on to swings, and think about how much worse, how much faster that game could have gone if if the Broad Street Bats hadn't had so many other things happen. They had so many walks and singles. I just want to show you, like, look at this. Truly insane. Let's look at how many times these guys came up to bat. And where they had 24 advantages. Oh my word. 51 plate appearances. I mean, the other team had 43. That's not terrible. Freelick hit 800. We can more so look at this. Oh my word. They only hit 2 home runs. Santo was a triple shy of the cycle. No one really, like, dominated in RBIs other than Utley. He had the grand slam. That was cool. So the player of the game is going to be the Broad Street Bats. Because they just went unreal. It's kind of funny. Banks had 3 walks. He's the only one that did not get a hit in this starting lineup. For the Bash Bros, they only hit 1 home run. I mean, they got hits. If you look at the bullpen, I mean, Bruce Ruffin, you thought they were going to be in a big bunch of trouble because Ruffin pitched tired and they were down 3-1, and then just that 10-run explosion absolutely just cooked the Bash Bros. So that's going to be it. It's unfortunately a pretty sad game here as we look at the final score, 18-3. The next time we see you will be the Clean Cleats versus the Base Bandits. So that'll be a big game. And until then, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you later.